Good morning, everyone. Merry Christmas. It's 9 o'clock. We are ready to begin our final meeting for the year. Let's begin with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. If you'll stand with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today and during a time of celebration of the birth of your Son, Jesus. We just ask now that you join us and preside over this meeting. Help us with these important decisions, as each meeting is important, Father. We just ask for your wisdom, your guidance, direction. We thank you for those who have attended today to express their interest, and we just pray your blessing upon the entire agenda. We pray for our servicemen and women, wherever they may be at this Christmas time, that you would comfort them while they're away from family and friends. Bring them back home safely when you are ready for them to come home. We thank you for a great year here in Titus County. We pray for 2017 that you would bless our community, bless each resident, bless the employees of this county. And again, we just thank you for your presence here today. In Christ's name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Come on in. All right, today is the 22nd of December, 2016, our final meeting for the year. And we'll begin with item number 1, which is public comments time, requests for information on non-agenda items. If anyone would like to address the court at this time, or you can wait and talk during the time when you have an agenda item that you would like to speak regarding. Anybody that wants to address the court at this time?
I'd like to.
Yeah, I've got these two here. It looks like they'll probably want to address. Let's see. Mr. Byrd, you want to talk about this item since it's not really an agenda item? Okay, come on up if you would. Is that microphone on? I want to be sure we can get you on the record. Tap that thing and no. Well, we can hear you, but I want to be sure we can get it recorded, and I'm not sure that mic is working. Where's our other mic?
There it is. There it is.
It has come to my attention that there has been some extended spending of the budget item. I have some questions for you, Commissioner. Mr. Field, how long have you been a commissioner here? How many years?
Nearly 30 years.
30 years. During that 30-year period of time, have you ever spent all your material budget in the first 2 months of the fiscal year?
Not all of it, no, sir.
This is the first time it's ever been done.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Well, we had probably the worst flooding we've ever had in this county. I talked to an individual the other day that he was 72 years old. We had over 11 inches of rain last December the 26th. That in my precinct I had probably more damage than any individual. Of course, I have 15 bridges in my precinct, and I had tremendous water damage out there on these county roads. And we spent really the whole summer putting everything back together, putting base back on the roads, and trying to get them back where we're past them.
Did any of the other commissioners spend their budget in like manner?
I don't know about that. I know they probably spent quite a bit of money, but you get all this work accomplished, and if you don't get a topping back on it, and it goes all winter, then you've got the same problem that you had before.
I live in your precinct. I'm
Yes, sir.
familiar with it. This has all the earmarks of being working counter proposal to our new law of the land, which is to bring a community road system. If you spend all the money that the new manager would have coming in, he has nothing to work with. He has no resources.
Well,
and from someone from the outside looking in, such as I am, that's where it appears to be, and that's not good.
Well, I can assure you, the year before, I spent, in October, if your weather's right, you can get a lot done. If it had been raining, that wouldn't have happened. But we did have a good October, and we were able to get a lot of things fixed back. You work all this time trying to get stuff put back together, and I'm going to say I had tremendous damage. I've never seen the flooding like we've had.
Did you use all the material you bought?
Sir?
Did you use all the material you bought?
The only thing that I have is some base, the ash that I still have, and some iron ore gravel.
You've used it all then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna limit you, as I always do, to about 3 minutes. So if you'll wrap it up, if you've got more, in-depth questions, we can always set up an agenda item for such.
Very good. Let me close with saying this. The new unit system will work with or without you, either way.
Yes, sir.
Elections have consequences. There's another election coming up in less than 2 years, and I remind you of that. We expect this to be handled expeditiously and professionally. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Byrd. Anyone else at this time? All right, item number 2, consider possibly approve minutes from the... Yes, sir. I was going to let you talk when we got to that agenda item. If you want to talk now, that's fine. Okay. Consider possibly approve minutes from our December 9th meeting. That was our first meeting of the month.
Judge, I make a motion we approve the minutes of that meeting.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hinton, second by Commissioner Parker for approval. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3, consider possibly approve minutes from our December 12th meeting.
I make a motion we approve those minutes, Judge.
Motion's made by Commissioner Parker for approval,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item number 4 is consider and possibly approve a resolution and a letter in support of certain improvements to US 271 between Tyler and Paris. As you all know, we are part of a group called Northeast Texas Regional Mobility Authority, and that organization is encouraging everyone that has a vested interest in Highway 271 to give a letter of support as they are trying to give some focus in their efforts to Highway 271. Not any particular part of it, but there are certain areas specifically to the south of us that they would like to bring to not only to the attention of TxDOT, but just encourage TxDOT to keep this road top of mind as they're considering where to allocate monies in the future. And we have a representative, Hudson Old, that serves for us on Net RMA, and I have got a letter here and a resolution. I've given you a copy of that resolution. I don't think that there's going to be anything on here that you all will not be in agreement with, but will you take a moment out to read that resolution? And then while you're doing that, I'm going to read this letter. There's no guarantee that any action will come from this. Again, this is just being asked by Net RMA for our support. Mr. John Cloutier is the chairman of the Long Range Planning Committee at Net RMA, and so this letter is addressed to him. Dear Mr. Cloutier, as a longtime member of Net RMA, Titus County is very pleased to hear about the U.S. Highway 271 initiative. Various representatives from the county were involved years ago and faithfully promoted the green carpet route. We still strongly believe in the importance of Highway 271, not only locally, but as a freight corridor identified by TxDOT connecting Paris to Gladewater. As our population grows and the freight transportation demands within our region increase, 271 is vital to providing connectivity between the major interstate trunks. Locally, 271 serves our manufacturers, including Pilgrim's Pride, Prefert's Newlyweds Foods, Big Tex Trailers, and our industrial park. The major segment of our new pass-through toll project is also part of Highway 271, providing safe, smooth, high-speed passage for north and southbound travel. Titus County wholeheartedly supports the continued development of Highway 271 to ensure that this key route develops to meet the increasing demands for freight and public travel within our region. And if you have any questions on that resolution, I'm going to read to the public here just some highlights here of this formal resolution. Whereas Highway 271 serves as a vitally important corridor in East Texas, impacting daily the lives of about 495,000 people. TxDOT has plans to construct about $310 million in improvements on US 271 within the next 10 years. Significant traffic volume on US 271 raises safety concerns and mandates urgent action to construct roadway safety improvements. 271 serves as a connection between Interstate 20 and 30. Overall economic success and improved quality of life will be improved with improvements in the connectivity of these major highways. In 2012, there were approximately 42,000 businesses and industries representing sectors in manufacturing, industrial production, transportation, agriculture, timber, service-related businesses employing about 210,000 citizens. The future viability of the region along 271 greatly depends on implementing planned improvements. Now therefore be it resolved that Titus County urges TxDOT to undertake improvements to 271 on an accelerated schedule in order to greatly improve safety of the corridor, enhancing connectivity and facilitating regional economic development opportunities. So I would ask for your support that we can forward on to NetRMA.
Judge, I make a motion we approve the resolution.
Motion is made by Commissioner Parker to approve this letter and resolution, second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye. Aye. I'm going to give you a copy of this resolution. While we're here, if we can get your signature on that item there, I'll pass it down to you. Item number 5, consider and possibly approve the installation of emergency exit-only alarmed panic bars for the 2 doors at the back of the courthouse annex. As you'll recall, we talked about courthouse security, and one of the first steps there was eliminating those 2 rear entry exits. One is by Courtroom B there at the annex. The other is near the what I'll call the break room back there where the handicap ramp is. And what we're going to do here is we are going to eliminate these doors from regular traffic, either in or out. That means general public as well as employees will no longer be coming in those back doors. They will have to go around to the front main entrance. And it also means it will not be used as an employee or general public exit. We will have associated signage with both of those doors indicating that emergency exit only alarm will sound, and then coming in also indicating this is no longer an entrance. You must use the main entryway on First Street. I did get a price for turnkey installation from a local glass company. It was about $2,500 to install these. Felt like that was a bit much. I've got a price here for the parts only at $925.24. I feel like we can get those 2 panic bars installed on those doors for considerably less than the total $2,500. I don't have a price for you on that, but I'm hoping that with the work that we've got going on there on cutting the door in the adult probation, that we could get that crew there to help us with this installation. So I'm guessing it would be a few $100s for that install of those 2 panic bars with built-in alarms. So I would ask that you allow us to complete that first step in that process with the purchase of these 2 panic bars for those 2 entries.
I'll make that a motion.
Motion's made by Commissioner Hinton.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 6 is consider and possibly approve a hire for Precinct 3. So I'll turn that over to Commissioner Hinton.
Yes, I know we had discussed, or it's brought up about not hiring anybody since we had the unit system here, but I also know we had discussion that if I took it that, with the court's permission, that Mr. Applewhite could hire somebody at the court's approval. So I'd like to make a motion that y'all give him allow him to hire somebody that'll bring him up to 4 employees and at the time when he needs it. So I'd like to make that a motion that with the court's approval.
I'd like to.
Are you making that hire? Are you making that hire before the end of the year? Okay. Why would we not wait till he was here? Just you want to speed that process up?
I just want to clear it before the court, and that way he can give him some.
Well, I'm sure there'll be some questions. Can you tell us why that hire is needed? I think that would be the question on everyone's mind.
When I had 4 employees, and then when I had one seek other employment somewhere else, I chose not to hire anybody because I figured we could take care of it by ourselves, the 3 plus myself. I found it very challenging, and I wasn't going to hire nobody before he come in. I was going to give him the opportunity. But before, with the commissioners having the day-to-day processes before the engineer comes in, I think that he's going to need an extra employee to be able to handle. And not saying he can't do it, but he's going to need some help out there to with the other guys to.
You're just getting the process
I'm just getting
started,
the process started.
rather than waiting till the first meeting in December.
January.
I'm sorry, in January.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to bring it up before the court, and that way it'd give him an opportunity to think about it and for his next court.
Okay. Did you have a question?
Oh, yeah. We voted on no new on meeting 2 meetings back, no road crew employed change in their pay or benefits except for countywide benefit. No new road hands are hired. And Mr. Parker, just in the last meeting, mentioned the fact in the wintertime that we did maintenance work. This is my 4th year. We change oil. When it rains, we all sit in there and tape dominoes and we talk, and there's tons of that. And this man, this new hire, will never ever work for Mr. Applewhite. And Mr. Hinton says he went short. He didn't go short. He used 2 part-timers for 4, 5, 6 months of the year to replace that guy that left. So this would be just another waste of our money, and I don't know why, but we get accused of cronyism all the time around here. I've already been accused. I don't know whether it's true or not. We already had the new janitor picked out before they even hired him. And that's what the general consensus of the county is about us. And this would appear to be just another opportunity to hire do some cronyism, hire one of our buddies. So anyway, that's what I've got to say about it.
I filled out pretty quick. I don't know if you got it or not.
No, I didn't.
I'd like to speak on this agenda.
Yeah, sure. Come on up if you would. Well, as far as him already having somebody picked out, I don't know anything about that. But sure would appreciate it if you'd defend us when you hear stuff like that, because you know our policy that we go through an interview process. I personally interviewed the janitors, and I personally made that selection. There was no cronyism there. I never heard of this guy until he interviewed. Do you have any other questions about that janitorial hire?
No, I don't know whether it's true or not. That's just,
I've just told you it's not true, what the rumor was that you heard. And again, I would appreciate it when those questions come up, just say, no, sir, this is our policy.
I'll do it.
Okay, Rodney, go ahead.
Okay, according to the Texas law governing County Road Department System, Subchapter D, Section 252.301, Paragraph C, says if the majority of the voters received in the election favor adoption, this subchapter takes effect in the county on the date the official results of the election is determined. Sounds to me like Titus County is under the unit road system right now. When I saw this agenda item, I questioned, why are we hiring somebody? And I understand we haven't hired a road engineer, road superintendent, road manager, whatever we want to call him. But why would we want to hire somebody that he may not need, he may not want? So I question hiring somebody at this time. Several meetings back, Commissioner Reynolds had a list of items that I think all of y'all agreed to. You know, one of those was we wouldn't hire anybody, won't fire anybody, won't make any major changes, because we are now under the unit road system. And I think that we ought to stand with that commitment and not hire anybody until we get a road engineer, whatever we want to call him. It's his responsibility to hire a new guy if he needs it. That may not be the case. Thank you.
Judge, can I ask one question?
Yes, sir, if you'll come up to the mic. Again, not that we can't hear you, we just want to get it on the record.
How long has the position been open?
How long?
Yeah, how long has there not been an employee in that position?
August,
August.
September.
Okay, if it's 4 months, would you agree?
But as Mr. Riddle said, I've had a couple of part-times, but, I mean, that was my choice to have a couple of part-time guys on the.
Well, it would seem to me that it would make sense to leave the position open until the new road manager can replace it. He can select the man he wants or doesn't want, whatever. And I think it would be doing a great disservice to him to hire someone right now before he comes on board. Thank you.
All right, Commissioners, any other question? All right, I'm going to assume that this comes in the form of a motion from you. Okay, Commissioner Hinton makes a motion that you allow him.
But I want to say this, we did have a discussion when that was brought up. We did have a discussion.
You're right.
If this come up, that we would discuss it.
That's right. Okay, so you're making a motion that you allow this to occur January 1?
Yes.
Okay, that's the motion.
Dinah, what's your opinion on it?
We can wait for that back. I said, I didn't want to cause any kind of confusion or anything, but let's see. If you want to do it later, we'll wait for them back.
Sure.
If this is a hard and steadfast road, Mr. Riddle, if all your people quit tomorrow before you have an engineer, what would you do? Would you have to hire somebody?
I'm not sure.
So you'd
I'm not-
go until we got an engineer without a crew? That's my only
I'd
question.
probably come to the court, and I probably would hire part-timers.
That's what, and Mr. Hinton is in my, he's the commissioner in my precinct, and that may be where he is, but it just struck me that if it's a hard, steadfast rule that you can't hire anybody, if you quit, you're without anybody for the rest of the, until you get an engineer.
You don't want an answer? You want an answer? Sure. I'd probably hire some part-timers with the understanding that the engineer would have to decide if they were hired or not. That'd be my first thought.
Okay, got a motion. Without a second, there won't be any action, of course, so I'll interpret your silence that we do not have a second in support of this motion. Anyone else want to make a motion related to this item? All right, if not, we will move on. We'll take no action on item number 6 due to a lack of a second. Item number 7, consider and possibly appoint search committee members for hiring of a road engineer. As you all will recall from our previous meeting, we had agreed to form a committee, and that committee, according to that motion, was to be made up of 5 individuals, 2 from this court and 3 from the general public. And I invited public input there on recommendations. I've provided you all with names, and I'll read these names to everyone, of anyone who has been a name that has been given to me or somebody that has contacted me. And I've also given you 2 written communications that I received there. You've got copies there. And then I noticed that there was Commissioner Riddle has given me an additional name here. So let me just go over these. You've got this list in front of you. This list is Road Engineer Hiring Committee interested and or recommended individuals. We have David Byrd, Nigel Christopher, Danny Cook, Darrell Grubbs, Mike Hall, Bill Ratliff, and then the one that I received today from Commissioner Riddle adding Lonnie Smith to this list. And just for those of you that may not recognize some of these names, and I don't know every one of these, Mr. Byrd here, who is with us today, a retired engineer, is that a proper terminology? Nigel Christopher, owner and operator of Christopher Manufacturing. Danny Cook, is Danny, I think you gave me this name. Is he currently employed with Luminant?
No, he's retired.
Retired Luminant. Darrell Grubbs is a civil engineer. He is with, he is the head man at Titus County Freshwater District. Mike Hall is the business manager at Chapel Hill School System. Bill Ratliff, our former senator, also a retired engineer. And then the additional name today of Lonnie Smith, who is also a retired engineer, formerly with TU and Luminant. So you not only have 3 public selections to make, you have 2 from this Commissioner's Court. I'd like to make a comment on the members of this court. I think that it's important that those who are most affected by this decision be heavily involved in the hiring process of this road engineer. I would therefore ask you that you leave me out of this mix and allow the 2 selections to be from the Commissioner's Court. Commissioner Fields has expressed to me he was really not that interested in serving on this committee. I would like to see, me personally, I'd like to see Mr. Applewhite be included in this and Mr. Parker included in this group. But I just wanted to make it clear, I choose not to be on this committee for that reason, and Commissioner Fields has chosen not to be on that group. As far as these other names from the general public, this is all I have at this time, and we can go through this selection process any way that you all would like. If there's anybody from the public that would like to speak, I'll be glad to let you speak at this time, but you got to come up to the mic. Good morning.
Howdy, how are you? little shorter fella here.
That's all right.
Please the court, my name is Mike Hall. For those of you that don't know me, I am currently the business manager at Chapel Hill, but I have been in public administration, especially transportation, throughout the past 20 years. I served in the city manager's office in Lubbock, Texas during the time of the I-27 transportation corridor planning process. Additionally, I served in the budget office as the budget analyst and capital projects planner for the transportation department, where we were building roads that were 7-lane thoroughfares and dealing with the loop that was in perpetual construction. I'm familiar with projects. I've also worked on the east-west freeway, now the Marcia Sharp freeway, with the Lubbock area TxDOT as a member of the Lubbock Metropolitan Planning Organization. And so, although I'm currently serving at a school as their business manager, my familiarity with road projects and transportation is very deep. I have a master's in public administration with fiscal administration background, and so that's my background. My personal interest in this is to see the success of the combined road unit system in Titus County. I think if you hire the right engineer with the right purposes and you provide them with the right tools and the support of this court, it will be successful. And I think our local taxpayers and our local citizens have told you that that's what they want. And so I'm offering my time, my energy to help you find that right person.
Mike, I appreciate your volunteering for this. I know you know that it'll take some time.
I am in a quandary as to the two commissioners you chose to be on this committee because Jimmy Parker and his wife actively campaigned against the unit road system. Dana Applewhite has never been a commissioner, so he hasn't got a background with the roads in the county. And Al Riddle worked for the unit road system, and the voters are behind Al Riddle on getting the unit road system. It makes no sense to me why you would try to hold him out of this position and put two people in it that were against it. It makes no sense.
Okay, I have my reasons. I'm just giving you, I'm not telling you that's who I have chosen. I'm giving you my personal feelings on the matter.
Why would you, what are your personal reasons for omitting Al Riddle?
Personal choice. I'm looking for two of the best commissioners that I can possibly put on there. Those are the two that I came up with. This is a vote.
What kind of commissioner Dana will be? He's never been a commissioner.
Anyone else?
I appreciate the opportunity to,
Introduce yourself for those in the audience that may not know you.
I'm Alfred Flanagan, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Philip, who is my commissioner, and I'm sure he'll be relieved that I won't be calling him anymore for trees on the roads or gophers that's dug under the road and made holes or too much rain. Appreciate it, Philip.
Well, thank you.
After the election of the unit road system, it was sort of interesting. My son called me from White House. He stays interested in our local politics, and he asked me what the unit road system was, and I explained it to him that there was a certain amount of anger towards the Commissioner's Court. So we voted in the petition was filed to have a unit road system, and it was adopted by the taxpayers. And he said, well, what does the unit road system do? I said, well, you hire an engineer to oversee the construction and maintenance of our county roads. And I expressed my concerns we were layering up our local government with more bureaucracy and expenses, and that I felt like that there was some concern on my part that maybe people didn't understand the problem with county government in terms of the roads and the constraints in terms of time periods, roughly April through September, October, due to the weather. You're not unlimited on your funds. You got limited funds to rebuild the roads. And so therefore, you become limited on how much you can get done in 1 year. So when I gave him the April to October time period, depending on the weather, he said, well, what does the engineer do the rest of the year? And I said, well, you know, I'm not sure. And I said, you know, we are hiring somebody full-time to work generally for the time period of April through October, September, October, depending on the weather and the funds. And it was at that point that I thought, why couldn't we try and get a retired engineer to agree to work through April, through September, October, to oversee the construction of our roads, the maintenance of our roads, and also during that time period is when the budget is being done for the next year. Tax rate set in October or September for beginning October fiscal year. So it looks like to me that we fulfill the desire of the people to have an engineer to come in and oversee our road construction, limit our costs. Maybe other counties haven't thought about this. But after our conversation, I try, and I'm not an attorney, but I did try and look on the internet at the design of the unit road system that the legislator set up. And if you read it, it is really very, very general. And the reason it has to be general is because every county in the state of Texas is different. You got different budgets, you have different tax bases, you have different miles of road, you have different types of roads. So the legislators allowed it to be general so that each county can implement the system that best fits their county. And I think personally, if we had someone who came in and an engineer and did this and helped with the budget for the next year, and then the commissioners could oversee their crews from that time till the engineer started the next summer. I think it'd be a great system based on the fact that it was voted in. And also, the problem I see after some questions were brought up here, everybody seems to be concerned about money and budgets. Was there an engineer budgeted for this year? Where's that money going to come from?
Well, we set aside $1 million in a separate fund for road work. We could get from that. That would be my suggestion on an already existing budgeted item.
Okay. But at the time that was set up, it was for resurfacing of the road. Is that not correct?
That's true.
$250,000. It didn't say anything about an engineer, but we know the money's there. And I think Mr. Fields, as they pointed out earlier, should receive some of those funds for his precinct. So you didn't use up all your resurfacing money, Mike. I know that. But anyway, that's my idea, and I would hope that the Commissioners Court would maybe consider this, because I think it would save us some money in the county. And it's very interesting. I got some numbers from Upshur County, which everybody seemed to think was the best deal going. And their budget on a per mile of road is almost exactly what Titus County is, and they've got the unit system, and they've got a full-time engineer. So I appreciate y'all allowing me to make that presentation today, and I hope that you will consider that idea. You might even set a precedent for the other unit road systems around the state.
Thank you, Judge. Okay. Fred, you want to come up here if you would, just so we can hear you?
Well, I really didn't have any desire to speak, but after a while, I think it's pretty obvious that the people out here want to restrict the money down. The commissioners now are going to have less responsibility, the road commissioners will. And I think that a lot of the people out here realize that they feel threatened by it. This is not to be threatened, it's to have a general person to see about the money and overseeing the crews and stuff like that to try to make it efficient. instead of having 4 or 5 bosses, to have one boss. And I also think, as far as the 2 on the committee, Al Riddle and one of the others should be there because of the fact that you've got 2 slants to it. You've got some that are for it, you got one for it, and you got several against it. And I think the people out here might take a better look at it and see more, thinking, hey, this is okay, if you have somebody from both sections on the committee. That's just my opinion.
Just as a reminder on that note, I want everybody at this table to be very involved in this process. We tried to come up with a working group, and let me stress, they're not going to sit in an isolated room and make a decision amongst the 5 of them that the rest of this group is not a part of. Everyone up here will be encouraged to read and thoroughly vet anybody who applies for this job. They are encouraged to give their thoughts and opinions to this committee of 5. They will sit in and will be encouraged to sit in on every interview that's granted, and ultimately the decision will rest with this group here. So whether it's me or Commissioner Fields or Riddle, I don't want to imply that I feel like I'm going to have just as much of a voice in this process as to who will eventually be chosen as those that will be on the committee. We simply have to create a working group that is not cumbersome and can be put together fairly easily without having to tie together all the schedules of a large group of people. We had talked about the concept of all 5 of the commissioners being part of that group, as well as those that were from the general public. We just arrived at 5 just because it was an easier number to deal with as far as putting together a group.
It's easier for people to come across, but I'm looking at how the public, the voters out here will perceive the ones on the court.
I completely understand your opinion.
And then also the ones here, I appreciate anybody that wanted to volunteer or whatever, because they're donating their time. That means they care about the county, care about the people, but you need experienced input. If it's somebody that's really knowledgeable out here, that should be the one we would think about. That's just my opinion.
Thank you, Fred. Anyone else want to comment? Commissioners, what would y'all like to do here? How do you want to proceed in this matter?
Well, I personally think Mr. Applewhite needs, before we select this committee, he needs to be on the Commissioners Court. I think we need to wait before this committee's done till after the first of the year.
Say that again, you want to wait till we even select the committee?
Yes.
And Commissioner Hinton expressed that to me as well. And as an alternative to waiting another 2.5 weeks to put this committee together, perhaps we could give a few minutes to allow Commissioner Hinton and Commissioner-to-be Applewhite to discuss this. And maybe between the 2 of them, they can come up with a clear-cut decision. If not, I agree it's important who is on this committee. I just hate to delay it another 2.5 weeks. I would like to have this done before we go home for the holidays. That's my opinion, but I understand what you're saying. Having had a chance to look at these names, along with the addition of Lonnie Smith, do y'all see some names rising up in your mind as to who you would like to have on this committee? Are y'all prepared to make a selection today? I mean, we can do it any number of ways. We can discuss these on an individual basis. You can vote on a ballot, and I'll have the clerk tally your ballots. We can do this any number of ways.
Very impressive group of people, I think.
I would agree with that. A lot of talent here, a lot of talent, a lot of experience. Well, one at a time. Jimmy, how do you feel about making a decision today versus waiting and giving Commissioner-elect Applewhite a voice? Do you think that that's important, or what would you like to do?
I definitely think that Dana needs to be involved in it. Out of this group that I am looking at here, I think that I see some folks that would be extremely good on this committee. We've had two that have volunteered that said that they would, be more than glad to serve on the committee. Either one of them, I know both of the guys. Either one of them, in my opinion, would do an excellent job with him. Another one, the other two are both engineers, and they stand out to me as either one of them could serve also.
Do you feel like you're personally able today to identify three that you would like to serve on that committee?
I could, yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Hinton, you've heard expressed, and you've expressed to me the desire to allow Commissioner-elect Applewhite to be part of this. Do you feel like we could accomplish that today by giving you all some time alone out in the hall to discuss these names and to at least see if you think you're ready to make a decision today? And again, I say I'm not rushing you. Yeah, I am rushing you. I would like to get this decision made before the end of the year so that we can move on, but at the same time, I don't want it to be at the expense of Commissioner Applewhite not being part of this decision.
I believe we could, yes.
Commissioner Fields, how do you feel?
I think he should be sworn in and a commissioner and be in the process of deciding.
Is that more important than getting this decision made today to you?
To me, it is.
Okay, and you don't think that the two of them could get together out in the hall and discuss this?
Could, I don't know.
Okay.
But I just feel like this is something he's going to, things we do and say and stuff. He's the new elected commissioner, and I think he needs to be on board.
Well, I think he does too, but I think we could accomplish that without waiting 2.5 weeks is all I'm saying.
Judge?
Just a moment. Commissioner Riddle?
I could give you those three, or did I give you more than three? Anyway.
Are you prepared to make a decision today? Okay.
Yes,
All right. Okay, Sue.
Judge, of all these people that asked that they can serve,
I have not personally talked to everyone, but at least somebody on this group here has talked and has gotten a thumbs up from everyone on this list, yes. There's nobody on here this is going to be a surprise to. Commissioner-elect Applewhite, what do you think? Do you think you and Philip could visit out in the hallway and come to a consensus, or at least give it a try? Okay. Why don't we take a 10-minute recess and y'all go visit in my office? How about that? And then if you come back and say, you know what, I really want to table this matter, then we'll consider that at that time.
Okay.
All right. Let's recess until straight up 10 on that clock.
Dana, I think that door's locked. Well, I guess I could go through there.
I have a copy of it.
why. Let me tell you.
What did Titus
road got to turn out here, or road out, you might have to put down and now, we don't need four, we got communication, we can get all of our equipment from
So why not just go under That's great. That's great. Who do you have running for city council? That's our employees' wages and the total county budget. Exactly. This is the total budget. This is the employees' wages. Employees' wages for Rutherford County, $400,000.
So anyway.
So we're not saving any money by going to Virginia.
You're probably right. Immediately. But down the road, what you're saying there, you're not taking into consideration how much more roads that they're doing and how much more production they're getting out of it.
Here's the numbers right here, Al. That's Titus County, that's Upshur County. This is their cost per mile road on the paved road right here. There's our cost per mile on paved roads.
Are you talking about maintenance or building roads or adding roads?
I was talking about the total road and bridge budget. If you do it on a per mile of road, we're getting as good a deal on ours, probably a little better than that. Did you look at it on a per mile road?
No.
Okay. You got to compare apples and apples.
Well, that's not, you're not comparing apples.
Yes, I am.
Okay, well,
Here's the numbers.
I know, you don't want to know. You got your mind made up. You got your mind made up.
And you don't?
I got mine.
Okay.
So there's no use of talking. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. I mean, it don't make sense to do it like we did 100 years ago. We'll get a lot more production out of our men doing it right.
If you could build the roads 12 months out of the year, you might be able to, but you can't. They got only so much money in so many months to get those roads built. Is that not correct? You can't rework the road after it gets all bad. So you're very limited. And there are certain things you can't do. together. And there's certain things when once you get started, you can't. I just laid some numbers out for you.
Yeah.
And an idea, but it did, I thought everybody wanted to save money, but maybe I'm wrong.
I guess he was going.
See why I just made it one term.
The man behind the curtain.
He held on one term.
Okay, it is 10 or 9:59, and we're back. You and Commissioner-elect Applewhite have had a chance to visit. Tell me what you're thinking now as far as tabling this matter versus making selections today.
We've come up with 3 names that we could select.
Okay.
So
Okay.
whether it's all the same as everybody else, that's to be determined.
That's right. One item here that I wanted you all to know, and is Danny Cook here by chance? I don't know Danny. Okay.
No, he's not here.
Danny Cook is the husband of Judy Cook, our tax assessor collectors, and so I just wanted you all to know who that was. Not only is he retired luminant, but there's also that connection there. Okay. Well, if we can move forward with making a selection today, did you have something you wanted to say, Commissioner?
Judge, I think we ought to do a secret ballot and just see how it comes out and go from there. I mean, we've got a good selection of names here, and I've got 3 picked out, and I think we ought to do a secret.
Well, you're not only those 3, but you need to select 2 from the court as well.
Okay.
Okay. All right. What do y'all, everybody okay with that? If y'all just indicated your selections on here, we gave them to the clerk and let her tabulate these for us and just see what it looks like? Okay. Well, why don't we do that then? So make you a selection of 3 from this list and then 2 from the court. And then just tear, well, you can just write the names down, I suppose.
Make a copy of that and give us something, 3, 5 we want.
Well, just tear you a piece of paper off there and just write your names down.
Tear it off a little bit.
Lonnie Smith has been out of town. He just called yesterday or last. He said he'd be glad to help any way to serve.
So you have talked to him and he is willing. Good, okay. Christie. Thank you. We need to fix that. Which one was that?
The very first one I received.
Who was the first one? Did all of y'all select 2 names plus 3 names?
Oh, we got to put that on there? Oh,
Here you go, I'll let you update that. Tell you what, why don't I just I'm gonna let you start and let you look at these, and maybe from that, somebody will make a recommendation as to the 3 and the 2. Okay, each of you have seen the results of this ballot, and so therefore, if you want to discuss, if somebody wants to make a motion for some, all of these spots on the 5-member committee, I'll entertain a motion.
Judge, I make a motion, we take the top 4 or 5 vote getters that were selected there.
Okay, would you like me to name those off?
Yes, sir.
Those 5 in no particular order here: Dana Applewhite, Jimmy Parker, Darrell Grubbs, Mike Hall, Bill Ratliff. So that is your motion to make that the committee?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Parker. Again, Dana Applewhite, Jimmy Parker representing the court, Darrell Grubbs, Mike Hall, Bill Ratliff representing the public.
Second.
Second is by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Thank you to these gentlemen, Mike, for being here with us today. I'll notify these others. I appreciate your working with us to get this done today rather than delaying this. Thank you for everyone's input. All right. The first task of this group, I'll explain to them, will be to get us some ads running as quickly as possible with the verbiage that the committee feels like is most appropriate, and to place that ad in the very best possible location to get the process going to attract some interest in this position. Item number 8 is consider and possibly approve travel and seminars. I think I've got 2 here. First one is Commissioner-elect Applewhite to attend the seminar for newly elected judges and commissioners. This will be in Austin, January 10th through 13th. $395 for registration, $930.35 for hotel, and that's all that he's asking for at this time to get this registration process going, and then the rest of it would be, looks like we'll have some per diem meals and mileage here to be determined, and we'll let Commissioner Applewhite make that determination after the first. Second request is our district clerk, Deborah Abston, to attend county and district clerks legal action program in San Marcos. This is in May. She's asking for $230 registration cost, $140 in meals, $393 in hotel, and approximately $390 in automobile mileage allowance. Total approximate cost, $1,182.20. Those are the only 2 that I have.
Make motion we approve travel.
Motion's made by Commissioner Parker to approve these 2 travel requests.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 9, approve oral and written reports.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Make a motion to approve reports.
Okay, I think Commissioner Hinton was first out of the box. And second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Item 10 is our treasurer's report.
Judge, I'll make a motion to approve treasurer's report.
Motion's made by Commissioner Parker for approval. Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number 11 is approved budget amendments, if any. Have three.
Last court, where we were moving money between Mike Fields, Precinct 2. Well, it was no new money on that particular, there's three parts to that. Where we moved it within his budget, and then one of them, we moved $20,000 from his carryover. And then the third part of it was approving last court through the $75,000 from special fund to Precinct 2. So it was a threefold.
These are all related to Precinct 2, and one is moving money around within his budget.
Which was no new money, and then the second part of that was moving $20,000 from his carryover.
From his fund balance.
And then we moved special road and bridge, $75,000 over there.
$75,000 out of the special road and bridge, $1 million in his budget.
I should probably have them numbered backwards, but the fourth one is the special road and bridge, where we had to move we had to budget the $75,000 to carry over there. So, and the fourth one is the tractors. Jimmy decided to pay off his tractor notes, and so we did it this time, and it's no new money.
And that's roughly how much to pay off?
$48,000 roughly.
$48,000 pays off. How many notes is that? How many tractor notes are you paying off?
It's just one that had two tractors on it. So, that's it.
Okay, so all those were related to the monies within Precinct 2, and the other one, Precinct 4, pay off the tractors. All right. Need a motion on that to approve those budget amendments, and that's going to be number 3 and 4.
Make that a motion.
Motion is made by Commissioner Hinton for approval. Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item 12, sign pay orders and approve payments.
Make a motion with pair of bills.
Motion's made by Commissioner Hinton.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 13 is closing comments, if any. First of all, I want to invite everyone to come and join us at 2 o'clock at the Annex, where we will have a time to say thanks and goodbye to Commissioner Hinton. This is his final month and his final year of his service to the county, and we want to wish him the best and thank him for his service to Titus County. So join us for some cake and some fellowship and a brief presentation, and let's make that a nice kickoff for the Christmas holidays. That'll be today at 2 o'clock at the Annex. We'll also be saying goodbye to Ernie Green, our longtime lead janitor. So a nice celebration this afternoon, but I do want to say thank you, Commissioner Hinton, for showing up today. We were wondering if you would, and I knew you'd come through, but it has been a pleasure working with you, and I do not know exactly what you'll be doing. I know you won't be sitting around the house. I'm sure you'll have plenty of things to do.
I've already got a list been made up for me for about 12 years, so I have some catching up to do.
Well, I've never known anyone but you sitting in that chair. It's been a pleasure serving with you, and I wish you all the best, and hopefully we can still maintain communication with you when we have questions that we need to ask, but it has been a pleasure. So also, I just wanted to let you all know that we did have an inmate that was injured at the jail that's going to require some surgery, and we don't know all the details on that yet, but just one of those things that happens when two inmates get into a scuffle, and unfortunately this punch to the face resulted in some damage to some bones in the eye, and unfortunately, according to our counsel, that will need to be taken care of by the county, but the sheriff has found the best possible way to get that work done, and we're hoping that it will be less involved than at the worst possible situation. But just wanted you to be aware of that. I'll keep you posted as I know more on that process. Is that going to happen this week or next week, or what's the time frame for that surgery?
Not sure.
Not sure yet. Okay. All right. That's all I have. Commissioner Parker?
Just a couple of things, Judge. One thing I'd like to commend two of the sheriff's deputies for the saving the
Absolutely,
guy's
yeah.
life.
Great
Brother
story.
Ed.
Great story.
That was a brave act, and I appreciate what they do. Second thing is, I'd like to comment just a second on what Fred mentioned there about us being threatened. I'm not threatened, don't feel threatened. I want to work with whoever we can get to the fullest extent and do what I can do to help out, do my part in helping out with this road system. That's what the public voted in, and I'm ready to step in and do what I need to do.
Thank you. Commissioner Hinton?
I'd just like to say, appreciate the support of the voters from Precinct 3 for the past 12 years, and I'd just like to thank him for allowing me to be their representative. I also like to thank this court for putting up with me. But it's been an experience. It's been an experience.
Indeed.
Enjoyed working with y'all.
All right, we'll see you at 2, right?
Maybe.
Hope you can come. Commissioner Fields?
Philip, I want to thank you also. You know, a lot of people, if you're never in that area, you don't realize what a commissioner has to deal with, but he has not one trouble, but two trouble. It's called White Oak and Sulphur. And it goes right down through his precinct, and it's, you know, and I know when that thing gets on the wall horse going down through there, it can be very destructive. Water next to ice is the two most destructive things you can have. And I know he's had to deal with that, and plus the timber companies and the oil wells and all that stuff. But anyway, do appreciate you and working together with all the commissioners in the past, and the job well done. Also, I wanted to mention about Mr. Cooper and Mr. Smith, the two deputies. They were on Channel 7 last night, and Jimmy was talking about that. And Mr. Cooper grew up out in my community. Very proud of him. And Mr. Smith, I don't know him that well, but he's got to be a good officer, because I'm telling you, anybody that go into that water on Sunday night, I know they had to be cold, because it was cold Sunday night, and they both were soaking wet. So anyway, job well done. You might relay that to them. And just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'll see Philip about 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Commissioner Riddle?
Philip, thank you for helping me, and hope you good luck on your new adventure.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd just also like to say Merry Christmas, everybody.
Judge,
All right.
I didn't say anything about Philip. I meant to. I appreciate what Philip's meant to me. I've called him on some things and asked him some questions and whatnot, and he's really helped me out, and I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you again, everyone, for your attendance. Remember, 2 o'clock today, and now I will entertain a motion to adjourn our final meeting of 2016.
Make a motion to adjourn.
There it is. Motion by Commissioner Hinton. Who's going to take your place making all these motions?
He's going to have to step
Well, does he know that? Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.